There is a provision that has been a concern of mine and many others. We've debated it now on the floor. We've attempted to get it fixed several different times, and I hope today, I hope tomorrow, whenever we vote on this, that we will actually be able to get this fixed. This is something that has been supported on both sides of the aisle, and it deals with eliminating red tape and burdensome IRS reporting requirements for our businesses, particularly small businesses. We are particularly concerned about what this means for small businesses. The provision that was placed into the bill that now, as we look at how the IRS would implement it, is clearly too burdensome, and my amendment would repeal that, Mr. President. It would allow business owners to spend their time growing their company and creating jobs instead of filling out paperwork from the IRS. We want them creating jobs. It's a common sense solution to an issue that has come up, and it basically would make sure that the provision that would require a 1099 form for every vendor when a company has a purchase of $600 or more for goods would no longer be in place. This is a provision that actually doesn't take effect until next year, but we want to send a very clear message to businesses who have expressed great concern about this, about what is coming for them at the end of the year. We want to let them know that we would not continue the new provision. We would allow small businesses who already create 64% of the jobs to be able to keep creating those jobs, and we would make sure that we are not putting in place additional paperwork for them. One of the things that I think is important to note is that, according to the IRS, the provision that we want to repeal, if left unchecked, would impact about 40 million American businesses. 40 million, and 26 million of them are sole proprietorships, our smallest businesses, and they would be overwhelmed with the paperwork that's involved, and it doesn't make any sense. We've passed a great small business jobs bill last fall that created 8 different tax cuts and focused on making capital loans more available for small businesses. We don't want to now go the other direction and see a mountain of paperwork added to the small businesses that we have been very committed to fighting for and to be supporting. So unfortunately, if this provision were allowed to stand, it would require a 2,000% increase in 1099 filings. And frankly, Mr. President, that just doesn't make sense. So this particular provision would repeal what was placed into the new health care law. We pay for the repeal by cutting $44 billion in unobligated spending. We do make it clear. I mean, certainly this does not affect Medicare or Social Security benefits in any way. I wouldn't support that. And I know my colleagues on the floor would not as well. You would make it clear that Department of Defense, Veterans Affairs, and Social Security Administration are not included, but it would give the Management and Budget Office the ability to look at the possibilities and areas for cut, and they would then report back to us in 60 days after enactment to Secretary of Treasury and the Congress concerning the amounts and the accounts that they would be using in order to cut back, in order to save this particular provision. So this is an area where we can come together, where Democrats and Republicans on both sides of the aisle who care passionately about small business can come together, eliminate red tape and burdensome IRS reporting provisions, get that off the table, make it clear now to small businesses that there is no intent or actuality that this is going to happen, and we can do that together.